All right, here we go. It's game number 2. The draft, it's underway, and it does look like it's going to be EHOME who sport the first pick.
Goodbye, Naga.
Naga taken out. Kunkka also going from the side of EG. EHOME, once again, will rid of the Wisp, and they followed up with an Elder Titan.
So it's basically the same band, so no adjustments.
So far,
yeah.
I'm interested whether EHOME will go like a similar style with the picks, or they will go like some completely different direction.
Well, they snatch away the Mirana, so they're not gonna give away, and we're not gonna see that combination of Mirana and Shadow Demon this time. And of course,
Go back for the Warlock again.
Wow, we're having a bit of a somewhat run back here. Going right back to the Warlock once again.
So what heroes can kill the Golem easier? Like we saw the OD ban from EHOME the last game.
I mean, Shadow Demon Purge doesn't kill it anymore.
Sven kills it.
Sven kills it.
Sven is probably one of the best heroes. In fact, that cleave is just great against it. They have 33% magic resistance as well, so they're a little bit hard to bring down with that, with their HP regen.
So you want to be killing it with pure damage or physical damage?
Physical cleave, I think, is one of the easiest ways to go.
I think it's like one of the only ways to go, unless you want to focus them down one by one, but that like takes a long time.
When there's 4 of them, you don't do that at all. You can't. You run into all 4 of them. Yeah.
You probably just die if you fight them.
But I also think one of the important things is that was later on in the game. The Warlock got a lot of items, but you have to abuse. He has no escape. He has nothing early on. He didn't buy Force Staff either. If you have heroes that can lock onto him, Bounty Hunter, Ricky, Slark, these type of heroes, that could maybe punish a Warlock play.
Yeah, I like the Ricky. Maybe you try to slow him down in the laning phase. You don't give him a good start. The hero doesn't do much if you don't have good levels on him.
But that being said though, he's like a really strong laner, and Ricky generally doesn't like to play against really strong laners because he can't like...
Yeah, you can't kill him, you can't harass him, you can't threaten his life at any point of the early game.
Yeah, like you can harass him a bit, but it's like he has what, 700 HP level 1, he's like actually one of the beefiest heroes when it comes to support.
Yeah, he's also beefy, but Ricky has so many lanes he can attend to in the early game, I feel. We've seen Ricky just run around, mess with the runes, and then later on when he gets level 6, he has all he wants.
That's not Ice. There he is.
Hello, Ice. Your biggest fan?
Yeah, your best buddy when you were in BG.
Yeah, it's kind of rare to see Ice like that much in the zone. We know him to be a bit of a goofball, but it's obvious that
very focused.
He's like, EG is nothing to goof about.
No, he's really serious when he plays competitions. Like, after the game is done, he's more like, ah, but like in the game, he's like completely serious, 100%. And you should be. Like, you're up against EG, you want to go to the top 3. You want to give away the chance.
Look at EHOME banning the Storm again.
Will they ban Morphling as well? The same 2 bans?
Could be very possible.
Yeah, like you guys mentioned,
that.
the heroes that can go behind and kill the Warlock, you want to remove those heroes.
Oh, they ban AA and Morphling is in the pool, and they have SD on Evil Geniuses? I feel that's a very strong option to go into.
SD Morph is super strong. Like, how can they deal with the Warlock now though? Like, Elder Titan is out, Morphling is okay, but he's like not the greatest if you can protect him.
I feel the power of Morphling against Warlock though is that he can go in and then disengage it again. That's probably why we saw them ban it out in first place. Now, EG must be thinking pretty hard about this. But with AA gone as well, Morphling is even more of a comfortable zone, you know?
There's not a lot of counters left, if any.
Yeah, SD on your team, AA banned. Seems good.
Yeah, but what we did see from EHOME in the past then, they would just go back to the anti-mage, lanes really well against
yeah, of course the anti-mage, yeah.
EHOME picked it like 3-4 times on the group stage.
You approve of Ice anti-mage?
I mean, you know...
he doesn't approve.
He's got a couple of itemization problems sometimes. Other than that, he's playing really well.
You can say things on camera.
No, I don't wanna... Like, he's my friend.
Yes.
We're good buddies.
Oh, they respect the Ogre, as you were mentioning.
And they steal the Ogre too.
Yeah, you don't want to give the Bloodlust rocks again.
No.
I think that was awesome.
That was so
awesome.
Yeah. Like, you see them with like, what, 450 movement speed, just run at you and they punch you like 2 times per second.
Yeah.
So much
what do you know? You won't be like getting run down by the golems. Like, it's the supports that are gonna get run down by the golems.
Yeah, I mean, like, you just like A-click a hero with 1 golem each, and they all just run away.
Yeah, I was looking at the golems in last game, and when they just have Bloodlust, their attack speed goes from 1.2 second per attack to 0.75 per attack. Yeah, and that's without the Beastmaster nearby and without the Necrobook as well. So they really do close to double, if not.
Yeah, almost a 50% increase.
really nuts. But now we're getting ready to approach phase number 2. Do you think there's any room for cheese in this draft? I don't know EHOME to pull out anything like a drow or
He's
not,
on
but
Warlock a cheese already.
I don't think he's cheese. I think they
after
proved
game
in
one-
last game that is not a cheese hero.
After game 1, nah. But going back to the Earth Spirit that we just said is dead. What do you think about that? He's not dead. I told you guys he's not dead.
I liked him when we saw him earlier because they still paired him with the Dark Seer, which adds to his early game aggression and potential, which you want to succeed on Earth Spirit. You have to make an impact in the early game for him to be able to transition into a level 6 Magnetize and have good team fight. They don't have anything to add to it except, I guess, a Mirana Arrow is to connect, so I'm not sold yet, but EHOME's such a good team. I hope I see it.
I'm not sure though, like the Earth Spirit, like usually when you pick Earth Spirit, you want to pressure the early game, but Earth Spirit can't really fight against the Ogre in the early game.
I also worry because watching when MVP were playing it, Dubu played probably one of the best Earth Spirits you could have played in that game.
Yeah.
He landed every single roll in the early game. He got great silences, good 2-man stuns in the ganks, and still the game fell short. I'm not saying that's a proof or anything, but Earth Spirit, it's really one of those heroes where everything has to go right.
I mean, I guess your team fight is very powerful with the Golem. You have a lot of lockdown, you have a slow, you have a silence.
It's good against Void that you can both stun and silence him so he can't time walk away.
Drow Ranger.
Oh, there is room after all.
I mean, like, but you pick the Earth Spirit to really like pressure the mid or off lane, right? With the Drow Ranger pick, Drow, Shadow Demon, Ogre on safe lane, and possibly it's like
There's no way you contest that
it's
lane.
almost impossible to pressure at all.
I mean, unless you go for like a Brood pick here, like to pressure lane. There's no other hero, like no other offlaner that can pressure that lane.
And there are so many mid heroes that are hard to pressure with ES nowadays as well.
Yeah.
And at bottom, like alongside you, she doesn't deal great damage until she's like level 5.
ES even going in, you'd think like at first, well, Earth Spirit's good at being able to get in the face of the Drow and close that gap, but then one gust flies out and suddenly you have nothing left to offer too. So.
It's so depressing when you get gusted out of the roll. It's like standing there and you die.
Why would you do that? I'm just trying to roll.
Why would you pick Earth Spirit, Dakota?
Yeah, why
In
would
this
you?
meta, I don't know. 4th pick though to come here from EHOME, and they see this Drow now and they have to find a way to respond to it.
Definitely not anti-mage anymore.
Definitely not.
You need like a faster pace hero, team fight hero.
Way faster. Like Drow is actually an AM hard counter in the current meta game. Because the game ends too fast.
I mean, not because of the silence, but I mean the silence is one thing, but
the game just ends too fast.
yeah, the towers go down and then you can't farm.
I think it's just hard to get away with anti-mage as well when the enemy have SD. It becomes extremely difficult.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure when this guy says anti-mage is hard, it's hard.
I mean, you know, just me playing some anti-mage.
I feel EHOME don't have too many options here. To me, Sven as a carry feels as one of them, but what else do you see here that...
Timbersaw.
Safe lane Timber again.
Alright.
But I don't know how much I like that against the lamp they have right now. Like,
Yeah.
what's the Timbersaw? They don't even have a strength here yet.
There's a lot of heroes that are going to be playing well against it, I feel.
I guess they're kind of maybe expecting that they're gonna roam a lot with Earth Spirit, and Timbersaw can do really well 1v1 faces Void.
Pick a sustainable safe lane, you mean?
Yeah.
Sure, but I still can't see this Earth Spirit killing with Mirana in the mid lane, and definitely not off lane.
I mean, we don't know who's in the mid yet.
The issue for me is Timbersaw is going to need something to deal with the silence, something to deal with the void. He needs to get
Too many
Lotus Orb,
items.
right?
Too many items.
And everyone wants to get
Guard.
Bloodstone first, so you go Bloodstone, then Lotus Orb, and then
BKB after because they have Shadow Demon.
it's already very late into the game, and Timber wants to crush early.
Yeah, I can see your point there. Where Timber, you don't really want to have to buy all those defensive items. It's very, very difficult for the
You
hero.
like mobility, like Blink Dagger, just
Eat the lens.
a lot of damages early on. They do ban out the Bad Rider, one of the only options left to pressure the off lane together with the Earth Spirit.
No, I think the Brood is still a good option though. Like, apart
I
from
mean, Brood would be very possible.
like why not? Look, what else would you go to pressure the lane?
Brood is great here actually for EHOME.
Oh,
if
that
they
would
want
be
to snag it
dirty.
But they could still mid lane the Drow though, and then safe lane another carry.
That's true.
Like an Ember Spirit or something like that.
That is true.
Is it too risky to grab a Brood with having a last pick?
Unreliable if you're not having the absolute last pick, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Unless you're a Bulldog.
Sure. Bulldog.
They get mastered Brood.
Reserve time.
You know, he's like on the airplane, and instead of talking to me, he's just like when the spiders attack.
That's Bulldog.
I was like, oh, dude.
Sounds about like him, yeah. I can confirm.
Sound like you guys would be good friends, actually, Black.
Oh, we are really good friends. They do go for the axe.
Ooh, okay. Axe comes out, more dunks in store for us
He's
for game
not
2.
going to be able to lane, so I'm expecting an Iron Talon jungling axe here.
Yeah, he can't lane at all. And Earth Spirit can't pressure, like,
Yeah,
pretty much any
they
lane.
might actually do jungle axe and Earth Spirit on the offlane to just steal levels.
I mean, he could, like, if he's an abuser of Earth Spirit, you can kick creeps into, like, the jungle.
You pull them. You don't kick.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you pull them.
Yeah.
I'm not an Earth Spirit player, obviously.
Please.
Yeah. Like, you pull, like, you pull them into the jungle, and then you're just, like, stuck there. And
Not
you
a
can actually
Warlock
get
player, not a Nurse Spirit player.
Dude, I play...
I told you he plays 2 heroes, Invoker and Anti-Mage.
Dude, I don't play these cheesy heroes, man. I play my Invoker, my Anti-Mage, my Terror Blade, my Earth Shaker.
Yeah, I agree though. Sending ES offlane and Axe jungle would probably get the most out of the lanes for EHOME, and that's one way they could mess with the safe lane of EG. The Traudusa.
Dusa comes out as
The
the
team
last
fight.
pick.
Look at their team fight. I mean, I'm gonna want to go towards EG again with that draft.
EG again for winner.
EG.
EG again.
EG all across the board here at the panel. We'll see if the game number 2 is going to be just as hype as game number 1 as we throw it over to our casters now. Once again, it's Capitalist and Blitz.
Surely, if you watched game number 1 and you're a fan of Dota, you want to see this series go to the full game 3. But it seems our analysts have picked Evil Geniuses to win game number 2 based purely off of the draft. Blitz, a last pick Dusa here for Evil Geniuses, as we're going to see that Dusa Drow Ranger combination that made its appearance at Manila make a reappearance here at TI.
I think this combination can be successful, and the main reason for it is the Shadow Demon. I think the Shadow Demon enables almost everything in this draft. For EHOME, they're going to just have to battle from the laning phase on, try to look for these mini engagements. Their Warlock Golem is almost always going to be the turning factor for them, but in that last game we saw, it was almost never used for offensive purposes, and this time around Fenrir, they're going to want to use it to just straight up push.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot more opportunities for that aggressive push as well with this old 11 Axe draft. Already talking about how probably going to have to immediately start off in the jungle. You could see he's got the extra gold for the Iron Talon. Now he's smoked up and already getting some aggressive vision down. The rest of EHOME smoked up and sitting, waiting for that top bounty room to appear. Evil Geniuses seemingly going to be running with a regular setup here. Defensive tri-lane around the Drow Ranger. Samael going to be running a mid-Dusa up against the what is going to be a mid-old chicken for Mirana. And Universe on that Faceless Void once again not going to be getting the same kind of prioritization in farm in the laning phase at least. Will be a solo offlaner against a safe lane Timbersaw.
That safe lane Timbersaw, it did pay off for EHOME in that last game, although they did eventually end up losing, but you can't really complain about that hero too much. The biggest mistake I think that Ice did was that one time when he got picked off at bottom for free.
Yeah.
When they had that huge lead, I think for EHOME, they just got sloppy. They understood that they were far ahead and they played like it, but at the same time, you've got to calm down and understand that Dota is a 5-man game right now and play around that fact, and EG were able to do that much better despite being behind 10k gold for most of the game.
Evil Geniuses positioning like they were going to contest that top room, but EHOME calls their bluff and will be able to pick that one up while the bottom room is grabbed by Universe. They are going to be starting off with an aggro tri-lane here, actually leaving at the bottom lane Old 11's Axe up against the Faceless Void. So this is where most of our action is going to go, trying to put pressure on the Drow Ranger as soon as possible. But EHOME supports already having a small battle here with Zai and PPD.
This is one of the better ways that people have found to deal with Drow Ranger is to put pressure on her in the laning phase, try to shove her out, slow down her item timings, and make it so that she's forced into a 5-man scenario much earlier than she'd like. We see that already, but it looks like it's so far okay for EG as their supports are very good at battling. Zai playing that Ogre, nobody really wants to mess with him.
Yeah, absolutely not. Ogre Magi, that Ignite, good amount of damage, high armor, good right clicks, and Lanham. He's going to be feeling the wrath of PPD's Shadow Demon here, taking a lot of Shadow Poison damage, has 3 stacks on him at 200 HP. So he has to roll out and head back to the fountain. Knowing that he's slow enough, can't really keep up in that top lane. Zai now going to be feeling some pressure from Ice and Fenrir, but they're granting plenty of space for Fear to get some free last hit. Our mid lane matchup, Old Chicken on the Mirana, facing up against Sumail's Medusa. Looks like Old Chicken's already been nailed by one of those Mystic Snakes. That is going to be the ability that could make this lane go in the favor of Medusa. Otherwise, Old Chicken may have the advantage.
With the drawer available, though, I think this is going to be a very hard lane.
Yeah. That is really actually what changes the lane up quite a bit. The Mystic Snake nails Old Chicken once again. Our bottom lane, though, surely this one's gonna go well. An Axe versus a melee hero, even a Faceless Void who has a high amount of survivability. He's gonna be feeling the threatening of that spin. Double spins on Universe with the time locked down. He may be forced to dip into some of that extra regen now.
He does have a lot working for him. The poor man shield is going to go in his favor as well. Axe doesn't mind trading hits too much as long as he's in the middle of the creep wave. But Old 11 only has 2 armor. We saw countless times whenever the Lifestealer versus Faceless Void matchup happened, the Void can just solo kill because of that low armor. 75 base on him. You don't want to mess with that unless you have that creep wave, which is why Old 11 keeps pulling the creep waves back. Engaging in the center at all times against Universe is the perfect way to deal with this.
He will pull the creep wave over to the neutrals, try and make sure that Universe doesn't get any of those free last hits. Keeping Universe on his toes. Someone else is going to be doing that too. Lanham, he's going to be kind of moving around the map here, trying to put some pressure on both mid and bottom lane. As it seems like top lane is going to be a bit of a wash. They're going to have the Warlock just sitting behind Ice and Timbersaw, healing him up and trying to keep him within experience range and the occasional CS. But otherwise, it looks like this may not be a lane they can actually compete against. You're going to see the disruption go down and Ice starts to have Timber chain right side. They almost finish him up. The neutrals intended to go for the deny. Not able to get it though. PPD lands the last hit and claims first blood.
So far, everything has gone really well for EG. The laning phase has been incredibly stable for them. They've neutralized this dual off lane. Old Lanham can't really do anything in this bottom lane either. And Old Chicken just getting harassed back by that Mystic Snake. He is not in the best position, and EG off to a very good start in the laning phase as opposed to the first game.
Old Chicken gonna have to do some bottle throwing to get back into this one. Meanwhile, Universe is feeling pretty confident here, even though he's dealing with a potential 2 versus 1 scenario. Lanham can't really get a good initiation in, especially since he's only level 1. Not actually sticking anywhere in any one lane to get experience, instead just doing a small amount of pulling and waiting for his opening. He might have just found it too. The invis picked up by him. He's going to be joined by Fenrir here in the mid lane for a 3-man gank on Sumail's Medusa. But we already have Zai here as the Ogre Magi sitting just behind Sumail.
They're anticipating this movement right now, but Ogre's going to get a little bit far out. Do they have the damage to do this though? Earth Spirit's still waiting on that level 2, but
yeah,
not sure how much longer they want to wait for.
If he can get the Boulder Smash, oh, that's a 9. If he can get the Boulder Smash, he can kick
Here we go.
back, and there it is. The roll in. They're going to be able to put Medusa in a nasty position, and EHOME quickly surround the Snake and will be able to cut the head off. 1-1 now. EHOME evening up the score.
Very good kill for them as they slow down the progression of the laning phase, and more importantly, they take down the top net worth hero.
Zai going to get some very aggressive vision down. All the way deep in that Radiant side mid, right by that hard camp. This will help see some of the rotations of these heroes. If they end up going into that Radiant jungle, Zai will spot them out. He's going to try and do a little bit of harassment onto mid himself. Now, this is no way an attempted kill, just some harassment. Trying to keep the Mirana back, and again, ensuring that Sumail gets some good CS. And he's got it too, 27-8 compared to the 21-5 on Old Chicken. Mystic Snake actually bouncing back and hitting Fenrir, giving Sumail that extra bit of heads up of what's going on.
They know that this is the only lane that they can really contest, but Sumail's not an easy target. With that raindrops available and that mana shield, they had to kick him in, and they still almost didn't take him down, as Zai now just camping behind it, and now they only have to commit 2 heroes to do this, while EHOME not getting XP on their 2 supports, and now they're going to give up for this. Fenrir going to make his way bottom, but it does look like EHOME getting a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, it becomes nearly impossible for EHOME once that Stone Gaze is up. You'd require perfectly synchronized stuns and silences, and even then it'd be questionable. So that's why Evil Genius is going to rotate down to the bottom lane, catching Old 11 with the Chronosphere, beating into him. Fear on the back line. The Drow Ranger will slowly pecker away at the axe until he falls.
They do get that kill. That's going to be a big rotation down from
PPD
and Fear.
He was left behind in the top
lane. That rotation came out from Evil Geniuses, leaving the Shadow Demon alone at the top lane. That's why EHOME, they sent the advantage and go for the dive, granting Ice a kill of his own.
Still think that EG is going to be pretty happy with what just happened. An Axe kill who just finished that Vanguard in return for that Shadow Demon, not really costing them too much. Ice is going to skip this wave though, pull it back and try to get some levels. And Sumail, he's content to just let this lane stay as is. Old Chicken almost constantly harassed back by that Mystic Snake. And again, the two supports from EHOME, not a whole lot for them to do.
Does it again come down to that sort of tempo game that we saw from bottom? They're going to jump in with Universe. No Lucky Bash, though. If he'd gotten it, maybe Zai could have actually gotten the kill. Maybe Zai can still get it. He managed to get the stun onto Fenrir. Will chase him down underneath the tier 1 tower. Fenrir dropping lower and lower, but so is Zai. 11 comes in from the jungle. Surprise! Gets the Culling Blade and will be able to save the Warlock's life. Zai getting a bit overzealous.
It seemed like it was more of Universe and him not communicating, because that should have been a kill. That Warlock didn't have any mana available. If the Void jumps with the Ogre at the same time, they'd probably get that kill, but they have to do it fast and just get out immediately after. But unable to do so, and that's just going to be a free kill for that Axe, who did need it.
Some classic greediness here from Evil Geniuses, trying to get max farm efficiency. They have Fear currently farming the Ancient stack right now by sitting on the high ground and being able to grant solo lanes to some of their other heroes. Universe is still at the bottom lane, but they're giving PPD the solo lane at top to try and speed up that level 6.
Yeah, this is pretty big by them. They're distributing very well right now. They understand that the pressure game is going to be on EHOME because the two supports are just getting nothing right now. Both only level 3, and on the other side of things, we see both level 4s, almost a level 5 on both these supports. He are now going to make his way up at top, and it looks like they're just using the Storm Ranger to rotate constantly around the map and create pressure for the other heroes.
This may come at a bad time though. Ice just got his Arcane Boots, goes to the side shop.
Doesn't have a TP available though. It's TP.
Now he jumps forward, is going to start going on to PPD, but they knew that Ice would get aggressive like that. Now Ice, he's got to pull out the jokes. He's going to be able to get through the trees. He doesn't have a TP scroll, and I have no idea how he managed to get away from this one. He's going to cut down some of the trees, try and go for a timber chain, something, but he can't do anything. Fear and Zai, they've got him corralled in and even out the kill score 3-3.
That's the benefit of giving your supports constant levels. They're going to be able to do something about those engagements. PPD almost already level 6. Once again, Fenrir just trying to do whatever he can to get some levels, but Universe in this bottom lane does not like being contested.
Just like PPD, right? Got to give that Warlock early level 6. See if they can have the early impact of the Chaotic Offering. Old 11, he is still progressing to a damn fast Blink Dagger, actually. His highest net worth, he has Boots, a Vanguard, and he will still have a Blink Dagger around that 11 or 12 minute mark as long as nothing too terribly bad happens to EHOME.
Oh, this top rotation is going to get spotted by this ward, and that's why you notice what Fear is doing. He's constantly just playing in the jungle, letting his supports take the lanes instead. So when Old Chicken decides where he's going to rotate, he doesn't really have a core target to go for, meaning that even if they go for it, EG are just being efficient with the other 4 heroes on the map at all times. And they're EHOME are just getting denied. Now it allows EG to play reactively to this. They're already starting to get aggressive here.
Ice. He sees the TP coming in. The arrow nails it though. Ice. He tries to go for an escape out of the tier 1 tower with the Moonlight Shadow, but it's not going to happen. 4 heroes from Evil Geniuses head up to that top lane and kill the carry of EHOME.
Yeah, meanwhile at bottom PPD, he's got the angle ready.
Another setup. They're going to lead with a disruption. Sumail trying to get the best Mystic Snake possible. He's going to bounce over Fenrir. He's just going to get right-click down. Evil Geniuses striking on both sides of the map and walking away with the kill apiece.
That was very well done by EG. They're just playing this style where they're allowing EHOME to run at them because they know EHOME want to get aggressive with these heroes, and they're just finding better opportunities for themselves. The good news for them though is that Lana did stack up this Ancient Camp from Old 11, so he's going to get a really good amount of farm, but at the same time the other heroes on EHOME are really where they're struggling right now.
So Old 11 has got to make space for the rest of EHOME.
Yes,
they prioritize the Axe, but he's got to return the favor now that he has Blink Dagger.
Precisely, and now he's got a Blink Dagger available to him. And at 10 minutes in, EG just might not expect this. They should start camping heroes behind their cores. They want to be able to survive this. And Fear is making himself scarce, putting himself in the jungle again, farming up these Ancients. And right now, all EHOME sees right now is actually nobody.
The pressure last game, EG was in a similar scenario. The lanes did not go well. The Axe in that game was actually rather underfarmed, wasn't going to have that fast blink dagger, so the pressure was on Universe to be able to make the right connections on the right heroes with the Chronosphere and set up a couple of pickoffs. In this game, it's going to be all up to the rotations of Old 11. Can he get the right initiations with this blink dagger? He's going to be joined by Old Chicken just to ensure that whoever they catch is a guaranteed kill. They're going to start making their way to the Ancients. Looks like they have managed to get an idea of what's going on here.
They're being like crazy. They've got to do something about this right now because EG...
Oh, the top lane, Chronosphere goes down. They're going to be able to get on him rather easily. He doesn't have a rollout. Back over to Fear. The smoke pops. Old 11 blinks forward. Oh, no! He went for the blind call, but Fear's position on the high ground allows him to elude that gank. And EHOME will walk away with the first Blink Dagger initiation with nothing but a Black Dragon kill, and they may even still lose somebody.
They're getting sandwiched right now.
They really are. Samael on one side, PPD on the other. They go for the call, but instantly the disruption comes out. And he died. They're double silent. Ice is here with the help, but the Conqueror's not going to be enough to push back EG. They now jump forward. A call, another one onto Universe. Doesn't have a Chronosphere to be able to slow down these two very tanky cores. So they're only going to lose their Murata, but that's still one of the cores from EHOME. And again, we talked about, the jump in from Launim. Managed to get the kick on a Fear, a Chakram over the top, but no follow-up whatsoever. They just do not have the mana on Old 11. He does now, though, the Arcane Boots of Ice, and maybe they can keep going because the first initiation doesn't work. That doesn't mean, though, that you can give EG any space. They're going to try again here with another smoke.
And even without any towers taken in this game, EG already built up 2k gold lead. And it's just going downwards right now. Same with Experience as EHOME. They wasted quite a lot of time doing that. They even lost their Mirana for that effort, as PPD just completely outplayed them, dodged the arrow, managed to get off the disrupt. Now he's going to be the one sent here to defend this as Lana. Looking for the angle right now, so Old 11.
They will be able to find this call. PPD. Life is going to be cut short as he tries to defend that tier 1 tower. Not what EHOME were looking for with their first execution, but it's a little something. It gives them a support kill and it guarantees that tier 1 tower at the bottom lane. So it gives them their gold, a little bit of gold in their pockets to work with here. Still got to be concerned though about the rest of Evil Genius's heroes. They're farming away. Old Chicken runs into Fear. Has to immediately leap out, fearful of that silence.
Not even going to test anything. Immediately just getting out. Gonna push back in this mid wave. EG still looking very good. During that entire time, Ogre was just farming. He's picked up his level 7. They understand that what EHOME right now are looking for, Cap, are these big 5-on-5 engagements where they can use their Warlock Golem. And so EG are just frustrating them. They're showing 5 heroes around the map. They're farming with only their supports. They're utilizing the jungle a lot more. You notice that Fear has been playing in this area for so long in this game, and he's still being very efficient. He's almost caught up to the net worth of the Axe, who's had so many different ancient camps to work with, just simply because the Axe is constantly looking to set up with that blink.
Samael sidesteps a seeking arrow there from Old Chicken, as he knows that EG are using a lot of these neutral camp and ancient camp positions. And he's hoping to be able to catch one of them out with an arrow, but they need a better way to be able to penetrate the Dire side here. They're still looking for their opening.
So far right now, EG, they're just positioning PPD behind this Medusa. Now this is going to be the first big maneuver by EHOME. They've got the Warlock Golem up as well.
But the Ward has already spotted them out. The Evil Genius is pretty quick on the retreat here, but the Ward is currently spotting outside. But Zai, he's tanky.
Not the target you want to go for right now. EHOME have committed so much for this.
EHOME wants so much more. Now Samael's going to show himself, and he's going to the angle above. He's going to be called chase first. But now on to 3. Universe setting this whole thing up. He's going to start going on to Fenrir. Hoping to be able to drop that chaotic offering. They will be able to get it off onto Samael, but Fenrir's going to give up his life for it. Now the roll in. Bottom getting so much damage out from his ultimate. He's going to try and escape as well, but it gets stunned up. Now right click down, but Samael is executed. A sweep in. Almost catches Universe as well, but a time walk will be able to undo that damage. Ice. He's starting to dip a little bit low. His way to the other side of the pound. Will be able to get there. An arrow nails Fear. EHOME lose yet another engagement here. They got the Dusa, and that's a little something, but they still lost 3 heroes for it.
Yeah, they're just getting frustrated. They're behind that tier 1 tower, trying to make something happen as Old Chicken He's getting quite low with Zai. Looked like he wanted to continue chasing for that, but Chicken still has all of his offense available to him. But EG responding kind. That 3-man chrono was perfect by Universe. They had that above angle, and they didn't even catch the Dusa in it. And so far, EHOME, they're walking away with nothing right now, and EG are looking really good.
I mean, I think you said it best. It just seems like frustration, and frustration naturally leading to impatience as EHOME trying to use that Moonlight Shadow and head their way into the EG side of the map, but scouted it out by a simple river ward.
Yeah, the problem right now is that EHOME have this kind of lineup where they simply just have to run at them. They don't have a real physical damage dealing core. They've got this Axe, they've got this Timbersaw, and this Mirana. These are meant to just be fighters, non-stop almost. And for EG, you've got this Medusa, this Void, and this Stro, which are going to scale better into the late game. They're better team fighters when it comes to it.
Oh no, EHOME.
They've got to scout out this Roach attempt, or maybe EG can just roll. We'll have an anticlimactic game number 2.
5 to 10, 17 minutes in, they desperately need to be able to stop this one, and an arrow will scout things out. Not going to hit anybody from EG, so they're not going to be caught inside the pit. But thankfully for EHOME, they will be able to prevent that Aegis going into the hands of EG, because otherwise, you said you've got to just run into EG. You need to be able to fight if you're EHOME with this kind of lineup, and that becomes all the harder with an extra life on one of these cores.
Yeah, the point still stands right now. You've got the type of cores that don't hit buildings the best, so you need to just kill heroes first, then take buildings. And that means you have to overwhelm EG in a team fight. But even with the Chaotic Offering going down on so many different heroes and Lon M getting his ultimate off for its full duration on everybody, they still weren't able to clean up any kills as Universe got a 3-man chrono. They have so many different ways to distribute damage and even save heroes, as the Shadow Demon always positioned so far back.
Top 2 net worth right now. Both EG cores, the Dusa at 8k and Fear not too far behind.
Right now, EHOME starting to press forward. They are still making pretty good use of their own jungle camp, and they've got this massive stack for Axe to go to in these Ancients, and that's going to catch him up, but whatever he gets after is going to determine the next fight.
Yeah, that's really important, right? Because if you can get this play mail earlier, all that farm that's being picked up by 2 heroes specifically, and it's kind of lopsided in farm for EG. They're putting all of this into the Drow Ranger as well as the Medusa. That blade mail can turn that strength against EG if he can just get the right kind of initiation.
Yeah, EHOME aren't really out of this game by any means. It's just, again, going back to their lineup and what they've drafted.
They needed to be able to get aggressive. They needed to be able to pick up some kills. And as you can see from the scoreboard, it's not looking like EHOME envisioned. 5 to 10, 19 minutes in. A slight net worth lead for EG, a little bit bigger in experience. This next team fight, though, could change the whole entire thing. EG not too willing to give that team fight to EHOME, keeping themselves relatively well spread, farming themselves pretty efficiently, as you mentioned, going through the jungle, only pushing out waves when it runs into their tower.
If you just look at it right now, EG, they don't really have to rely on going for a smoke anymore. They can just play the pace of the game. EHOME trying to do the same thing by constantly stacking up the ancient camps. That's going to be their reply to EG's slow style, so that they can constantly keep up and farm.
Snail feeling confident, but he jumps over the river, now going to be caught by Old 11. He has the extra plate nail, the damage comes in. They're going to be able to drop the Veronica.
Now they might have the damage with it.
The nail, he's dropping lower and lower, but it's not good enough. The Chronosphere now comes into play, and Old Chicken going to be beaten on by Universe. He'll end up falling, but in the background, he cleaned up the Medusa. He's going to search for more, but he watches Lanham die and realizes he can't fight EG anymore. He backs up behind his river, 2 for 1 straight off. But they did get a very high net worth hero out of that. Top of the board, the Medusa did fall.
The bigger thing is that the Axe was able to survive even after his initiation, but they did blow that Chaotic Offering once again, and they weren't able to push off the heels of it. And that's what our biggest issue was in the last game with EHOME's lineup, is that they were never able to get aggressive with this Chaotic Offering early on.
Evil Geniuses, they're going to have their Chronosphere up in 70 seconds, so a slight advantage there, while the Chaotic Offering going to take a whole lot longer to come back into play. Fear has 3,200 gold on him right now, and he's inside the Roshan pit as well. Is this a Shadowblade game, or do we just need to focus on the team fight?
Shadowblade's pretty okay. It means that if you decide to turn it into a split push game, Fear will do quite a lot of damage.
Arrow just spotted him out. They know that Fear's inside the pin. They're going to be able to get the call. Hold 11 with a follow-up pick. The disruption is there, and Lanham can't get the damage out onto Fear. He'll now retreat to the safety of the EG bosom, but the rest of EHOME are still surrounding that pit and not granting Evil Geniuses the opportunity.
And you really want to see Fear use his money before this next big engagement, as Ice now starting to pick up the farming pretty much everywhere with that Bloodstone and those boosted travels, pushing in the waves. And this is the kind of style that we saw out of the last game, but when it came to it, they just weren't able to end the game.
And this is perfect, right? Because now this will match the EG farm efficiency when it comes to utilizing the jungle. With his boots of travel, he'll be able to match that by split pushing and keeping EG on their toes.
Very much so. And I mean, to their credit, they've done all the right things. EHOME have constantly stacked up this Ancient Camp whenever available. That's made it so this Axe, even though he's not fighting the fights, he's still been able to keep up with the rest of the heroes in the farm. So it's a very good job done by EHOME so far.
It's just not what they really wanted out of this game, but maybe they can still find that opening. The Mirana now getting the Aghanims. That's going to be another opportunity for them to rapidly split push against EG with that free Starstorm coming into play. Old 11, who's burrowed himself deep inside the trees. He may be able to find an opening as Ice is going to force some rotations here. They've got Fear, they've got Universe. The Chronosphere combination is going to allow Fear to be able to just beat into Ice. But do they have any counter vision? Yes, it's going to come in from Zai with the dust. They're going to be able to get that one. At the same time, PPD getting caught in bottom lane. He does get the deny though. He suicides himself with the Bloodstone, making that a little bit more worth for EHOME for now. The loss of the Bloodstone charges is still going to cripple Ice's Timbersaw a bit, but he can still come back into that with the right team fight.
It's not going to be too bad. 8 Bloodstone charges is what it originally was to begin with, so it's okay. He's going to be in an alright position.
Travel coming in, Ice is already ready to go. There's no Chronosphere here, but Sumail just stands and fights. He knows. He's super tanky with that Mana Shield. The roll in, looks like they may have caught Zai out of position. They're going to be able to get the pick on him. Old Chicken comes in with the extra nuke damage. A free kill there. Then we'll look for more. Long jump forward. Ice now going arrow hit and from Sumail, but they manage to lock down Fear, and they turn away from the snake to be able to kill the Drow Ranger instead. Roll in on out. Old Lana gets the kick, lands on Sumail. The Chakram over the top. Slows down Sumail a bit, but it's too tanky for Ice to be able to commit to that kill, but maybe they can still get this tier 1 tower at mid. It's been one of Evil Genius's strongholds. It's what's allowed them to be able to play so well around this Ancient stack, but they will lose this objective now.
Yeah, just a little bit sloppy from EG. They got way too far forward there, and EHOME finally find the kind of fight that they want, where they isolate a hero out immediately and they're able to continue the chase. That's what you want to see out of them. And the biggest thing is that EG still haven't been able to do the Roshan. That's one of the biggest parts of this Drow Ranger strategy, is you can transition from getting to that Roshan, then you just 5-man behind your 2 range heroes. You're able to siege very effectively with that Dragon Lance. But so far, EHOME have fought them at every single turn, and even though it hasn't been successful, it's delayed enough.
You're reaching the 25-minute marker now, and you could see how that net worth graph and experience has changed to go in EHOME's favor. Just a little bit of a lead, but it's the crack in the EG armor. Their defense around that tier 1 mid area seemed impenetrable for the first 20 minutes, but EHOME have finally broken them, and now they're actually spreading the map pretty damn well. They've got Ice up at the top lane, threatening that tier 2 EG. They know what kind of lineup they have. It's the Drow Ranger lineup. It's naturally going to lead itself to a lot of 5-manning, which is going to lead them to being outmaneuvered and out-split push in these occasions.
They just don't have the best way to deal with this top lane. If they deal with this top lane, then the rest of the heroes can't farm. Because if EG show any sort of farm distribution, like if they run into this jungle area and they get spotted by this board, somebody's pushing out top, then everybody from EHOME can just make their move. Look at the way that EG have to jungle right now. They've got to do it as a group. And meanwhile, if you just check the map spread on the Radiant side, they are all around the map.
Yule Scepter actually being picked up for Old 11.
Same time though, this Timbersaw, he's gonna have a point where he doesn't get that much stronger. You want another core to go with him. This Axe,
So
we have the best late game set.
At what point, like EHOME, they're doing a great job like matching EG's farm and even surpassing them in some regions, but at what point are they forced into a do or die? We must fight, we can't just outfarm them.
I think for at least the next 10 minutes, they're still okay, but there will come a point where EG, they can't get high grounded, and EHOME, who's going to deal the high ground damage to their lineup? As Zai,
is going to pop Zai around the trees, will be a loop-de-loop, but not the big escape. Ob11 catches him out, gets the call, and Ice will claim another Bloodstone charge.
This is what we talked about. EG, they're trying to avoid these fights, and EHOME trying to just
look these pick off. But Ob11 not able to get the initiation. Now the chaotic offering going down. Evil geniuses are going to be forced back. The Chronosphere onto Ob11 as well. The fear on the side. EHOME can do nothing but watch as their ally falls, and their chaotic offering Warlock Golem is laid down.
And they just have to get out right now. EHOME trying to look for whatever engagement they can. They know there's no stand game.
Nice pick, actually landing on a PPD. Samael turns and fights the best he can, but there's no big ultimate. Old chicken the TP out, not going to be able to make it away. The damage is too much for him to handle. Ice, he's next. He's got the Timber Chain to be able to get some distance, but Universe will keep pace. He needs a longer jump. Managed to get the bash. Ice. He's time dilated up, unable to get a Timber Chain for quite some time. He's just going to be slowly pecked away by these range heroes. Not able to make it out. He needed 15 seconds for a Bloodstone suicide. Couldn't even get that.
And that is 4 heroes down now on the side of EHOME. EG going to take a lot of this real estate on the map. They're going to push in all of the lanes simultaneously. This bottom lane being pushed in by these creeps. This mid tower that was so important to EG going to fall without any sort of resistance, as EHOME have no heroes to defend it quite yet. Now the axe is going to come forward, and EG, they still want to take this.
And gets the call out with the Blade Mail. Fear returning so much damage back into himself, but not low enough for the pulling play. But the Eul Scepter will make sure there's no retreat. Ob11 has another chance at this, but the BKB activated. Fear gets the distance once again, but Ice. He knows he's close. If he can get the right Timber Chain, he can catch up to Fear, and that's why PPD. He interrupted with the disruption. May have cost him his own life, though. Tries to juke it out, gets silenced up. Timber Chain not gonna latch. And Ice, he can't take stand. In fact, Ob11's getting low. Go down, a kick will buy him some space, and Arrow comes in. And Samael, he has to keep his distance.
Both teams have to recognize the strength of their lineups as EG. They understand when it comes to the late game, they've got that in spades. Same with the counter initiation with all their abilities. And for EHOME, getting into team fights, it's going to be very good for them, but at the same time, they're going to need to kill so many different heroes before they're able to go for a push.
I mean, you already have the Scotty on Samael. You're beginning to see that you're talking about it. At a certain point, EG won't. They have such good high ground defense that EHOME won't be able to penetrate it. And that comes in large part, right, to the Dusa and her ability to stand on the front lines with the mana shield, has the split shot, and you've even got PPD's disruption to be able to create even more Dusa illusions.
And we talked about Universe just being a vehicle for the other teammates on his side. He's just going to enable their damage. Like, how often have you seen this Faceless Void build as of recent? As he's going to go for the Aghanim Scepter right after the Blink Dagger. Almost no damage items. He's going to rely heavily on the throw and the Medusa. Now they're going to go for a smoke of their own in this bottom lane.
They could be open up. Initiated on Ob11, sitting on the side, waiting and waiting to go for the call while he loses Lanham. He decides he's not going to be able to fight that one. Just leaves a one support kill. Ooh, that arrow. Just tracing PPD's behind there. Ob11 still wants to be able to fight.
Oh, they're going to fight it.
Oh, Universe is going to be able to run into him. Ob11 not able to get the initiation. Now the disruption goes down, stopping the goal-ups, and they will be able to get the Chronosphere as well. They want to make sure there's no answer from Fenrir at all here. The Universe, he gets it. No, the chaotic offering. It goes down. Last half second, he can then turn the fight. On him, he dies in secondary time here, and Ice times I
get low.
He can't get any damage out whatsoever. Ob11, he's actually ineffective, unable to catch up Universe, and it looks like he's just going to have to watch Ice die. Maybe not. He gets the call with the blade mailed out. Will be able to save his ally, but it cost him his life. Maybe at the cost. Old Chicken, he does get the kill. He managed to take out Fear, but now has to run himself away. 2 more seconds till his call is up, and no! A time dilation. Ice, he rolls on through, but Samael, he's still taking. Ice,
oh, he doesn't get the chain.
No, he didn't get the Timber Chain he wanted. He has another one though. Chalkum, Lances, Timber Chain will be able to get him. Universe, he's low, and Ice, he thinks he can win this fight. That's why Universe blinks himself away. TP's out. It was a smoke initiation that led into a second buyback here EHOME, they brought Lonim back into the fight, and it still went EG's way. They lost some mail, but ultimately the numbers went the way of EG.
Yeah, but still, EHOME, I think they're going to be somewhat okay with that, just considering the gold lead does go in their way, at least for that fight, but man, when you come to it, EG, they're pushing the pace. I really like that they're always trying to find fights now on the side of EHOME, because again, EHOME, they want to utilize this chaotic offering on the other side. They don't want to keep using it defensively like this, especially if they're not dominating the fights. That was the issue with their last lineup, and they're struggling with it even more in this game.
They've got that Shivas, though, on Ice.
There's going to be a butterfly soon on the side of Sumail. He recognizes who's the physical damage dealer on the side of EHOME. So he's going to continue to scale.
He's just going to pump out the damage right next to Fear. All they have to do is just dodge the initiations of EHOME.
Big thing right now for EG is going to be this Aegis, and that's why EHOME just checking this area. They want to see if EG are doing it.
Arrow goes out, will reveal that Roshan is indeed up. But no one from EG being caught inside that pit, and both teams will start scaling up.
Medusa, she is so strong right now, top in net worth, even considering how much that Timber's done just to farm with that boots of travel early on, and he's still not even able to keep up.
The butterfly just means with that activatable flutter, he's going to be able to keep pace with any of these heroes of EHOME. Yeah. Not even that Timber saw. He's even going to struggle to be able to get in and out of that fight with the time dilation of Universe's Faceless Void always being aimed to keep the Timber Saw down.
And that's why they're going to go for the smoke. And look again, they're trying to find a fight on the side of EHOME's base. And
immediately Universe jumps in. The counter initiation from Oldalem will be able to solve some of the damage, but they've already lost their Warlock. No chaotic offering today. Oldalem, he's trying to dish out the damage to Sumail, but now he's caught inside the Stone Cage. The Moonlight Shadow buys him a little bit of time, but eventually he will end up going down. And now it's all EHOME players falling as they're going to be chased down by Universe and gets the bash. Lonim not going to be able to make the escape. 5 more seconds for a rolling boulder. No chance. Ice, the lone survivor here of EHOME as evil geniuses find the perfect initiation. Universe gets the Chronosphere to win the fight, and EG go for Roche.
Hey, Sumail just does too much damage right now in these fights. And EHOME don't have the burst damage potential anymore to take out anybody on EG. So the fight is almost always going to start in EG's favor. Now they're going to go for the Roshan. We talked about how important that was going to be for both teams. Instead, it's going to go free for EG. The last game, they struggled to take it so often, but this time, with the dire side advantage and having just won that team fight, Fear's going to pick it up for free.
Now EHOME struggling. Look at this initiation. Universe, he just jumped right in there, got the Chronosphere. Now we're going to find another Chronosphere as Universe managed to catch Ice up here in the top
lane.
First
bash.
He's got one good Timber Chain to be able to get the distance. It looks like he is going to be tanking up. EG can't pursue, and I think they got a read that EHOME were bringing in reinforcements.
And EHOME, they're trying to look for the fight. With the Chrono down, this is probably going to be one of their better opportunities. As you look at the poorly drawn line that Old 11 put on the map, he's signaling for them to go for it.
I mean, they just got a big upgrade. Ice, he's had a huge problem with this time dilation, but he's now got the answer. After the Shivas, he picks up a Lotus Orb.
It doesn't look like EHOME are going to go for it. Instead, going to continue, try to get some farm in this jungle, but EG...
Moonlight Shadow, Old 11, way
that was completely envisioned, and
here.
Ice pushing out this top lane, but again, EG are content. Old 11 trying to find an angle.
He's looking for it, but he's not going to be able to find it. The Chronosphere with a double flank. There's only one hero inside the Chronosphere. That's going to be Fenrir. Again, he's the target. He will end up going down. Looks like the other support Lonim, he's going to be caught as well. That could have been so much worse for EHOME. If it wasn't for those double blinks, they could have lost a complete team fight there. Instead, all they do is give up their supports in exchange for the tier 2 at the top lane.
Not too terrible for them, but still losing heroes at this point, especially with EG just going to form up around. And they are such strong position with this Aegis.
Disruption being spammed out here on the Dusa. They actually do see Old 11.
But at the same time, it looks like they caught Universe. Ice going to try and lead with the Shivas, but he doesn't wait for a disable. Old Chicken's trying to go for the Yule Scepter into the arrow. But now EG,
they're just marching right now.
yeah, they just circle the wagons around Universe, protecting him. Resetting the fight, now going for the tier 3 push.
I mean, Sumail's just daring them to go on him right now. And there's not a whole lot that they can do. Look how quickly this tower goes down. EHOME gonna send in Ice, but now here comes the illusion spam from EG.
Old 11 has to jump in sometime soon. His Blink Dagger getting canceled though by the illusions, and the tier 3 is gonna fall. Arrow goes out, not able to find the initiation. Old Chicken pokes at some of the heroes from the side. With this Blink-in Starstorm, they even almost caught on him. Now the initiate comes in. Ice is going to be solo front, speared up the cutting on. Offering goes in. Old 11 unable to get a good enough call though to the mail. He gets the Doge's off and rips Old 11 apart. A Yule Scepter goes down, but Old 11 will still fall. 2 down from EHOME. And EG still healthy, all 5 heroes. Above 75% as they push into the high ground, going for the range racks.
And EG are just not to be deterred. They barely did any damage to Sumail, and even with a decent initiation from EHOME, the EG are just too strong right now for EHOME to fight. They can sense their top 3 berth, and they want to meet Wings in the upper bracket. They're going to just continue going for this bottom tower, and probably go for the racks in EHOME. They've got one more shot at this, but this time they have to do it without the chaotic offering.
This time it's EHOME's chance and an impossible hold of high ground. Without some of their big ultimates. Old Chicken gonna start trying to lay out the damage, but they can't delay for long.
They take these buildings so fast.
Dead. A double stun and a double silence, but they managed to get the Chronosphere locking in 3. Lana and Fenrir again, the support down, leaving Ice alone, and that's it! GG is the call from EHOME as game 2 is cut short. Evil geniuses executing very cleanly here in game number 2 and proving that game 1 was not a fluke.
It just looked like EHOME ran out of steam. In the second game, they made moves that I've never seen them make. It felt like they were desperate. It felt like they were playing on the back foot. Even at 15 minutes, they were just telling themselves, go, go, go. And eventually, EG just kind of withstood it. They played behind their Medusa. They recognized